We all have those days, right? The ones that change everything. But what does it look like when a single day truly becomes the beginning of, well, everything? Today, we're going to jump back in time to July 12th, 1942, to see how one wedding day laid the groundwork for a lifetime of promises. And wow, was that foundation strong. The promises they made that day held up for 41 years. So this isn't just about a wedding ceremony. It's the story of day one of a marriage that would get through a world war, that would raise a family, and would last right up until the very end.
Sure, the next day, the local paper had all the details. The dress, the guests, the venue. But, as this line from the story's epilogue tells us, it could never, ever capture the most important part, that deep, real love that the whole day was really about.
Okay, so let's rewind. Let's go right to the beginning of that day. It's the morning of July 12th, and Betty Carringer is waking up in her childhood bedroom for the very last time. Can you imagine? In just a few hours, she's going from being Betty Carringer, daughter and teacher, to Mrs. Frederick Seaver, Jr., a wife. It's just a huge, huge moment of change. I mean, talk about relatable, right? In a heart-to-heart with her mom, Emily, Betty just perfectly nails that wild mix of feelings. It's that universal feeling of standing right on the edge of a massive life change. So what does her mom say? Well, she gives her this really simple but profound piece of advice. She lays out the 4 things that made her own 23-year marriage work: love, respect, friendship, and commitment. And this, right here, became the blueprint for the life Betty hoped she and Fred would build together. And this is so cool. Family history was literally woven into the moment. Each of these items connected Betty to the women who came before her. That brooch, worn by 3 generations of brides in her family. The bracelet belonged to her grandmother. It's just a beautiful, physical way of showing that love being passed down. And then, just before they head out the door, Betty has this really sweet moment with her dad, Lyle. He's getting emotional, feeling like he's losing his little girl. But her words, they just show she gets it. This isn't about losing someone. It's about their family getting bigger. All right, so now we're at the main event, the ceremony at All Saints Episcopal Church. The place is packed with almost 200 people. You've got family, friends, coworkers, sorority sisters. This wasn't just some private thing between them. It was a public promise made in front of their entire community. And you know what's crazy? The whole thing happens in a blink of an eye. The music starts at 2:55. By 3 o'clock sharp, Fred and Betty are saying their vows. And just 15 minutes after that, it's done. They're husband and wife. It's such a short amount of time for something that changes your life forever. The words themselves are so simple, but man, are they powerful. Look at them, side by side. To have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse. They're making the exact same promises to each other. It's a verbal contract, a total commitment from both sides. And that commitment was shown through something that was actually pretty modern for 1942. A double ring ceremony. That wasn't the norm back then, but Fred and Betty, they chose to exchange rings. It was a physical sign that these promises and this partnership were absolutely equal. So this was the woman who walked down that aisle. In the eyes of everyone there, this was Betty Virginia Carringer. And then, after the vows, after the rings, the rector announced, "I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Walton Seaver, Jr." And just like that, in that one instant, her identity officially changed. One chapter closed and a brand new one began. Okay, so the serious part is over, and now it's time to celebrate. The whole crowd moves from the quiet church to the joyful reception at the San Diego Women's Club. This is where their community gets to cheer them on and launch them into their new life. And you can just picture it, can't you? The 2 moms, Emily and Bessie, standing there in the receiving line, one in chili green, the other in smoke blue, both of them just looking so elegant, so proud, and totally united in the happiness of their kids. The best man, Marshall Chamberlain, gives the first toast. And really, he just says what everyone in the room is thinking. It's not just a wish for them to be happy, but for them to have a long, resilient life together, full of adventure. And then, in the middle of all that noise and celebration, everything just kind of stops for a minute. Fred and Betty have their first dance to the song Always. As they're holding each other just lost in their own little world, the song itself is a promise, right? A one-word summary of everything they just vowed to each other. All right, the party's winding down, and this is where the story shifts again. This is the moment they go from the big public celebration to their own private journey. They're leaving the party and driving off alone together for the first time as husband and wife. And you can't have a 1940s wedding without this, right? You've got the streamers, the tin cans clattering behind them, and that big, joyful announcement for the whole world to see, written right there on the back window. So, on their drive up to Laguna Beach, they pull over to watch the sunset. And in that quiet moment, Fred says something really profound. He defines what they just became. It's not just two people anymore. They're a team, he says, a partnership, a family. Our family. Their arrival at the Hotel Laguna is the day's final official act. When Fred signs that hotel register, it's the very first time their new shared name is used in a private setting. It's a simple little thing, but it's what officially kicks off their honeymoon and their life as a single unit. As they're standing there in their hotel room, Fred asks Betty a simple question. How does it feel? And her answer? Well, it just sums up the entire day, the entire promise of their future. Like the beginning of everything. And for them, it absolutely was. So, Betty and Fred's story is just this incredible reminder that entire lifetimes of love and family and partnership, they often kick off with the events of just one single day. And that kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? What single day, big or small, was the beginning of everything for you?